Good morning. Anyone for tennis? It's Wednesday, the 15th of June, and it's fast approaching my favourite time of the year, Wimbledon fortnight. Since a very young age, I have loved watching Wimbledon on the television, and it was always my ambition that one day I would be able to make it there. When I lived in East High Street, I would rush home at lunchtime to see as much of the tennis as I could on TV, black and white in those days, before going back to the old academy just across the street in the afternoon. My favourite player at that time was Maria Bueno. When I was older, I always hoped it would rain here but not at Wimbledon, so I wouldn't feel so guilty about watching the tennis on a lovely summer's day. But of course now there's continuous play at Wimbledon because Centre Court has a lovely roof on it now. My mum was an avid tennis watcher as well, having been a tennis player herself when she was younger. And I think her love of tennis passed on to my sister and myself. In summer, however, it was tennis that took up a lot of my leisure time. In the early 60s, some of you will remember the clay tennis courts on Reed Park Road, now lost to housing. I enjoyed many times playing and spectating there and have lots of happy memories. I particularly remember a match, not such a happy one, when I played against my sister Wendy. I think it was a final. For those of you not really interested in tennis, you play sets, the best of 3 in a match, or we were allowed to play 1-set matches. We both agreed it would be a 1-set match. However, when I lost the set, I wanted to play another to see if I could catch up, but my sister quite rightly refused. I think I probably moaned and huffed quite a bit, but did it teach me to be a better loser? I think probably not in my early teens, but I hope I'm a better loser now. My sister was by far the better player anyway, and still plays tennis quite regularly at the age of, I think I better not say. Some people would argue that tennis is an elitist sport, and there are certainly not the same opportunities for youngsters in Scotland. In England, there are more chances. But what do you need to play tennis? A racket? Somewhere to smash a ball? Preferably good weather, a lot of determination, and probably a tennis court, and parents who will support you, a little skill and ambition, and who knows what a youngster can achieve. They will learn discipline as a team member of playing doubles, but as a singles tennis player, they have to work through strategies on the court by themselves. Of course, players have coaches, much the same as footballers, baseball players, separate, but coaching is not allowed from the side of the court during a match. Some of you may remember Serena Williams in an incident when the umpire said she was being coached during a match. But once a player is on court, they are by themselves. But my ambition to visit Wimbledon, I can only say for me it was a wow experience. Exiting the tube chain which took us to Wimbledon was like stepping onto the grass court. The platform had a carpet of green taking you to the exit. Then there was the short walk along the road to SW19. Along the route, we saw some very enterprising youngsters, I assume with their parents' permission, charging people to park in their driveways. How brilliant was that? On arriving at the courts, our bags were searched, and then it was the freedom to roam as we wished. One of the first things to greet us was the statue of the famous Fred Perry, the last British male player to win the men's final until Andy Murray won it in 2013, defeating Roger Federer. But the green and purple, famous for Wimbledon, colours were everywhere. Wimbledon is famous for being the oldest and originally, arguably, the most prestigious event in the tennis world since 1887. And there are quite a few traditions, but here are 5 of them. All white must be worn for men's and women's matches, not off-white or cream. An average of 28,000 kilos of strawberries and 7,000 litres of cream are consumed during Wimbledon fortnight. Henman Hill, or Murray Mound, was originally called Orangi, which means cloud in the sky in Maori. Queuing has its own code of conduct. And Pym's cocktail was first introduced by James Pym's, and the first Pym's bar was opened at the 1977 tournament. But just wandering round the whole complex was such an adventure, and seeing and sitting on what we think of as Murray Mound instead of Henman Hill was thrilling. I can hear some people saying, "Oh, how boring." Of course, there is a huge screen for people unlucky enough not to have a ticket. Then they can watch what's happening inside on centre court. Of course, the best part was arriving at centre court, and listening to the buzz and watching the royal box was captivating, and of course watching the players. And the greenness of the court was stunning. I wish we could have a lawn like that. Just the noise of thwacking balls was mesmerising, and watching heads turning from left to right was amazing. In contrast, when matches started, the silence was unbelievable when players started to serve. For those of you who are tennis fans, over our visits we have seen Serena Williams, Garbina Muguruza, Maria Sharapova, Pat Cash, Raonic, Victoria Azarenka, to name but a few. We have been a few times since that first visit, and the excitement is the same each time. You can wander around the grounds and watch matches on the outside courts, and perhaps see famous players on the practice courts for the cost of a day ticket. Of course, I have collected some memorabilia, fridge magnets, my tennis racket, it's a bit droopy these days, a coffee mug, and of course I have tea cloths, which I will be bringing out shortly. One has tennis rackets on it. They are getting well worn by now. I was sorry to hear last week that Sue Barker, for this year's Wimbledon, will be her last. She has been the face and voice of Wimbledon for so many years and will be sadly missed. You will remember I referred to coaches earlier. Probably at some time we all need a coach, but the best coach for people of faith we could ever have is Jesus. If we follow his teaching, we will be well on the way to achieving our goals, whatever they may be. This is not always easy, and we will all experience ups and downs. Remember the story of footprints in the sand. Eve Muirhead, an Olympic curling champion and winner of many titles, and presented with an MBE and OBE just last week, says, "In an ideal world, it would be great if Andy Murray is still going strong in the Wimbledon tournament, and I could see him on centre court. That would just cap off a brilliant sporting year for me, and it would make me very happy too." I have seen Andy Murray play in 2 exhibition gatherings, along with Roger Federer, resplendent in the kilt at one point, and what a great atmosphere it was. I am hoping to go to an exhibition in December, which was cancelled previously because of COVID. And you can tell I am a great Andy Murray fan. Sorry to see he was beaten in the men's final at Stuttgart at the weekend, but roll on Wimbledon. Please don't tell Barbara Ann, but I have been known to watch tennis on my iPad during a service. So I have achieved my ambition to visit Wimbledon, and hopefully Another ambition to visit Oberammergau in July will be fulfilled as well. Hope you all have a great week, and tennis fans, a fantastic Wimbledon. Bye.